Now begins part 2. For listeners just now tuning in, Moody, following Popescu to Sultanahmet Square early one morning, has discovered him to be a heroin addict and his persecutor to be his supplier. After interrupting the exchange and sending Popescu back to the hotel, Moody has detected the peculiar odor of the cigarette smoked by the unknown person who searched his room.
Whoever it was, they were right on the other side of the pavilion, just feet away.
I hope you were careful. Could have been dangerous, chas v'cholele.
I figured I was pretty safe. I had my .38 snub-nose in my pocket.
Your what? You brought a gun? Are you out of your mind?
Better safe than sorry.
I don't believe you even have a gun.
Why would I lie about it?
All right, Mr. Big Shot Starker, let's see it then.
I can't.
So new?
Look, that's not the point. Are you going to let me tell this story or not?
So tell.
It was no one more or less than the well-dressed fellow with the cigarette holder, who I'd seen lurking around the hotel bar the first time I ran into Popescu's unsavory associate. It figured. Hey, mister, am I right in thinking you're the guy who tossed my hotel room a few nights back?
Good morning, Mr. Moody. I'm afraid you are quite correct. My apologies for the intrusion.
I was ready for a denial, for outrage, or feigned innocence, or at the very least surprise. This was like throwing my weight against a door and finding it open, and I stumbled around a little bit, figuratively speaking, before I managed to take the offensive. He was standing there, clad in a dove-gray overcoat and a polite, patient little smile, as if I'd turned up 10 minutes late to an appointment. I lost my temper. God knows I don't have many possessions in this world, but I was damned if I was going to let this clown paw through them at his pleasure. I reached out to grab a handful of his lapels. Listen, pal, I don't know. Before my hand got halfway to him, he caught my wrist and twisted me around. He pinned my arm against my back until I grimaced in pain. His other hand was frisking me expertly. He reached into my pocket and removed the .38 and slipped it into his overcoat. Then he released me, and I spun around to face him. Hey, what's the big idea?
I beg your pardon, Mr. Moody. I hope there's no harm done.
I'll live, but I want my gun back.
And so you shall have it back as soon as I am satisfied that you do not contemplate anything intemperate. I trust you will forgive me, but I find the combination of aggression and firearms to be an uncomfortable one.
Just who are you, anyway?
My name is Saidi. My card.
When he reached into his coat to take out his card case, I caught a glimpse of a pistol, maybe a Luger, and a shoulder rig. His card simply read, Ibrahim Sayadi, with the name of a famous hotel on the other side of the water in the modern part of town. Underneath was an Arabic inscription of some kind. Just what is your angle in all this?
It would be indiscreet to discuss that just now. I trust you will forgive me.
I suppose I can't force you to talk, can I?
I'm delighted that we can understand one another. I believe you are a relative newcomer to the city?
I know my way around okay.
No doubt. I wonder, however, if you have had occasion to explore the historical sites of the city. This very park itself displays not a few points of interest.
What?
Consider that obelisk there.
Listen, Mr. Sayadi, right? If you're in the mood to educate me, that's fine. But if you want to talk, start by telling me why you broke into my room. I don't need the cook's tour.
Yes, I quite understand your point of view. In fact, Mr. Moody, I'm afraid that I'm not at liberty to chat just now either, having an appointment in Beyoğlu to which I must attend. If you're going in that direction, I should be glad to offer you a lift.
Well, what's up that way?
Istiklal Avenue is often appreciated by visitors. I myself have an appointment there.
I figured I'd play along, so I agreed. We got into a glossy black Bugatti two-seater and sped off. We drove across the Golden Horn into Galata, then onto Istiklal Avenue in the Beyoğlu district, where we stopped and got out. I walked a ways up the street, then turned and followed him. He was walking briskly in the opposite direction. I followed him at a short distance. After a few minutes, he went into one of the buildings. I looked up at the flags over the door. It was the Soviet consulate. That was all I needed, dragging the Bolsheviks into this whole incomprehensible situation. But Sayadi was a Turk, not a Russian, and communists generally didn't drive top-of-the-line French sports cars. That only left a couple of possibilities. One was that he was a diplomat. He was certainly well-mannered enough. He didn't strike me as a man who read books on etiquette. He struck me as a man who didn't need to. So maybe he was a diplomat. I hoped he was, because the only other alternative I could see was that he was a spy of some kind. That would mean that I'd gotten myself mixed up in one of those thousands of little international intrigues Europe was full of in those days, and that's an unhealthy hobby. I hope like hell he wasn't a spy. There was only one way to find out, and I went. Sayati was there, speaking to the clerk at the front desk. I hid in the cloakroom and listened.
Assuria, the invitation was sent. It is here in the records.
I should not dream of doubting you. However, I am sorry to say that I have not yet received it.
But the notice is so short. Sokolowski plays this Saturday.
I didn't like to bother you prematurely. If you will accept some small compensation for the inconvenience.
I understand. I will see that an order is made. I will also make sure that your name is on the list, so that you will not be refused entrance regardless.
Splendid. That will be quite satisfactory. Good day.
Don Sivanya. And thank you. I hope that you will enjoy the performance.
I have no doubt that it will prove to be more than memorable.
I hid behind a coat rack as he went by. Then I broke cover and made for the front desk. I had a plan. I was tired of being an ex reporter. I'd just been re-employed.
Can I help you?
Yes, I'm with the Hartford Socialist Worker. I believe the paper wired ahead about an appointment with your cultural attaché.
I did not see such an appointment.
Listen, comrade, they told me I'd have an appointment. Can you see if the comrade attaché is available?
The cultural attaché is out of the office today.
Is there anyone else I can talk to?
Name?
Jack Moody.
I will see. Allo? Podpukovnik Shigalov na mieście. Jäger-Amerikaniec ZDS? Jacques Moody? Da. Da. Niemniet. Da. Spasiba. Comrade Shigalov will see you. He is most senior diplomat available. You will please wait in the third office on left down that corridor. Comrade Shigalov will arrive shortly.
I sat and waited. There didn't seem to be too much else to do. In a few minutes, Shigalyev came in. He was a tall, darkish, secretive sort of customer, very physically fit in an unobtrusive kind of way, with a cleft chin and rimless glasses. I put him in his mid-40s. If he called anything to mind, it was a switchblade stiletto, secretive, very sharp, and with a bit of a hair trigger. Jack Moody, Hartford Socialist Worker.
Alexei Semyonovich Shigalyev. I'm very glad to meet you, Mr. Moody. What brings you to Istanbul?
I was sent here by the newspaper.
So I assumed. But why here, comrade? Why not in Russia, where the socialist dream becomes every day a reality?
Well, the truth of the matter is, Comrade Shigalyev, we're a pretty small operation. Not many of our brothers at the Colt factory understand the need for international solidarity. We can't afford to send a man to Moscow. But Comrade Jackson's brother runs a tramp steamer out of New Haven, and he was calling here on his way to Odessa.
So why not continue on?
I'm afraid Captain Jackson and I had a bit of a falling out. He's had trouble with the Longshoremen's Union, and he ain't real sympathetic to the cause.
I understand. My sympathies, comrade. I am close friends with one of the sub-editors on Krasnaya Zvezda. I will see if he cannot do something for you. In the meantime, is there anything that I, as representative of international socialism, can make your stay in Istanbul more pleasant? You understand that I am in no position to offset your costs, but...
Actually, there is something. And that, ladies and gentlemen of the audience, is how I got 2 invitations to the Sokolovsky recital.
That concludes this, the second episode of The City of Stones. Serpents column was written by Zachary Langlois. It was produced by Zachary Langlois and Elise Donyan. The part of Jack Moody was played by Justin Miller. The part of Sonia Fine was played by Ashley Hamill. The parts of Ion Popescu and Ibrahim Sayari were played by Zachary Langlois. The part of Alexei Shigalyev was played by Jake Lucas. Serpents column was recorded at the WHUS studio with the indispensable assistance of Nick Stevens. Be sure to tune in next time with our thrilling third episode, International.